Hi, if you're watching this video, you're here for modal verbs, which is another type of grammar that's being scored on the test. Modal verbs are like a type of helping verb. If you want a proper name, it's like an auxiliary verb. There are many modal verbs, but today I just want to focus on 9, which are up in the corner. They're the probably easiest ones to use. We've got can, could, may, might, shall, should, will, would, must. Those are the ones I want to focus on for today. What they do is they work to modify the verb, the main verb of the sentence, to give it a slightly different meaning and to give us a better understanding of it. So let's go ahead and start. Modal verbs can be used for a lot of reasons. I want to talk about maybe 4 today. The possibility or the likelihood of something happening. They can talk about the need or the necessity of something to happen. They can talk about having the freedom or the permission to do something. And they can talk about having the willingness or the ability to do something. And yeah, a lot of those overlap in a little bit of different ways, but it's not that important. Knowing what modal verbs do is an important skill, but more important is knowing the proper way to use them in a sentence. I trust most of you to choose the right modal verb, but I really want to make sure you're using it correctly in the sentence. So if we go through these sentences, there are 9 sentences, 1 for each modal verb. I've used them in different ways in these sentences. So if we go ahead and look at this first one, for example, it might rain today. That's most similar to the likelihood. We're using this modal verb to express the likelihood of something, as in maybe it will rain today. There's a chance it will rain today. Next one, can I go outside? We're using this to talk about permission to do something. Am I permitted to go outside? Am I allowed to go outside? That's what we're going for here. The next one, must I do all of the work today? Again, that's the necessity. Not again, that's the first time. It's the necessity to do something. Do I need to do all the work? Do I have to do all the work today? Something like that. Number 4, he will lie to you. And so this is one where it kind of overlaps a little bit. I have it written down as the possibility. He is certainly going to lie to you. The possibility is 100%. But if you wanted, you could say, yeah, this is a little bit of that willingness or ability. He has the ability to lie to you. He will lie to you. That's fine if you want to do that too. Knowing the exact meaning of the modal verb that you're using is not 100% important. Like I keep saying, it is about using it correctly in a sentence that I'm mostly concerned about. Number 5, she could swim well when she was younger. And that one is, of course, the ability. She was able to swim well when she was younger. Number 6, you may begin reading. So this one also is permission. You are allowed to begin reading. You can be, well, that's a modal verb. You are allowed to begin reading. That's a better example. Next one, I would feel bad if I offended someone. This can be a little bit of possibility, the likelihood of something, but yeah, I have it marked as, that. Also willingness. It's kind of like I have the ability to feel bad if I offend someone. Next one, you should stop doing that. This one, of course, is necessity. You need to stop doing that. You must stop doing that. And the last one, shall we continue? This one's a little tricky. It's actually permission. Do you want to? Would you like to continue? Something like that. And so again, if you're able to know how to use these, that's wonderful, but the main focus is really about, I want to make sure you're really able to use them in a sentence. And so when we have our modal verb in a sentence, we've got the sentence will be set up like this. First the subject, then the modal verb, then the verb, and then the object. So the main verb always comes right after the modal verb. The main verb, though, is going to be the base form of the verb. That's the infinitive form minus to. So for example, to go is infinitive, go is just that base form of the verb. Another important point is that modal verbs break subject-verb agreement. So for example, we must eat more vegetables. Here's our sentence. Of course, if we remove the modal verb, we have we eat more vegetables. That sounds fine. If we had he eat more vegetables, then of course he needs to have eats, as per the subject-verb agreement lesson. He eats more vegetables. Great. But when we put in that modal verb, he must eat more vegetables. So the modal verb makes us go back to the base form of the verb. It breaks subject-verb agreement. Cool. I'm so sorry about the car alarm in the background. For negating a modal verb, it's very easy. You take the modal verb and the verb, and in between them you squeeze not. Very simple. I can not eat, or I can't eat. That's why we get contractions like this. Can not is can't, because the modal verb comes before the not, the negation. So let's go ahead and go through these sentences. As we go through, check out the times when subject-verb agreement is screwed up, if you can catch that from the previous lesson. So this first one is, it was my first day at my new school. As I walked up the steps to my new school, I, possibility plus to see. So it's past, so could see would work best for us. I could see a very large group of new students, probably my new classmates, standing around looking confused. So the second sentence is, normally I are a very shy person and I, possibility plus to talk, but the negative form. So we're going to take a possibility modal verb like can, and then we need the negative not, and then talk. So cannot talk or can't talk to strangers easily. But I decided that this was my chance to change from that bad habit. And if you've got eagle eyes, you'll notice that I are is a mistake. So I am is what it should say. Next sentence. Since I had no friends from my middle school that came with me, I knew that I need plus to use. And so we're in the past tense. So we're going to use something like must use. It's something that has to be able to work with the past. Incidentally, it works with the present, but it works with the past, which is what's important. I must use the first day of school to make friends. Last one of that paragraph. With that thought, I decided that I, willingness plus to give it a try. So there's a lot of answers to this one. I'm going to go with I would give it a try. Since it's the past, you could say I could give it a try. I should give it a try is fine, but that changes the meaning slightly to be about like necessity or the need to do something. But it's also totally grammatically fine if you wanted to say that. Next one. I'm happy to say that the first day of school went really well. Of course, there were a few people who willingness plus to talk, negative form. So we've got would probably is the best answer. Would not talk. Wouldn't talk is a contraction. Wouldn't talk to me, but most of my new classmates were friendly. In fact, we's still friends to this day, and we still talk often. And there you go. We's is short for we is, which is wrong. Should be we are or we're. No more subject-verb agreement mistakes. You're free. Next sentence. I'm grateful that I overcame my difficulty talking to people on that first day of school. If I had to give advice to new students coming into school, I would say that you need plus to be afraid, but the negative form. So should not be afraid or shouldn't be afraid. But like before, we can say must not be afraid or mustn't be afraid. Both of those are totally okay. It, possibility plus to help. This one exists in a without time, so it could be past, present, or future. So this one has a lot of options. We've got possibility and to help. So help is our main verb. Can help is what I've got suggested. Could help is fine. May help, might help, even should help is a little bit okay. Will help is a little bit certain, but it's fine. And would help, yeah, is okay too. So pretty much most of them would be okay in this place. That's the nice thing about modal verbs, is they kind of overlap a lot. So hopefully that makes it a bit easier. So make sure you're using them correctly, and good luck on the test for that.